Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3, protests overnight outside the U.S. Supreme Court over the future of abortion protections. This morning, we're going 360 in-depth on the explosive leak from the nation's high court and what it means for women in Colorado.
Finding housing for middle-income Coloradans. Lawmakers hope to pass a solution with just days left in the legislative session.
And the Avalanche open their run for the Stanley Cup tonight. The team is making final preparations before the puck drops for Game 1 of their best-of-7 at Ball Arena against the Predators. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo. Excited for that game tonight, I know, but she's watching the forecast too, and we're going to get a little warmer today than yesterday, Lisa.
Quite a bit, yeah, you're right. We hit highs in the 40s yesterday. It was pretty chilly. We're going to be in the 40s by mid-morning today and then into the 60s this afternoon. So we do have a nice warm-up in store. Right now it's chilly. We're just above freezing. This is going to be the coldest morning of the week, though. Things are going to warm up nicely, and we'll see a little bit more sunshine today. Again, we'll get above yesterday's high by about 10 o'clock, low 50s by noon, and then we're going to hit highs anywhere from 62 to near 65 this afternoon. Denver right around 64. Same thing there in Highlands Ranch and Parker. You'll find more 50s than 40s in the mountains today, so it is going to be quite a bit warmer. Fast forward, though, to tonight, and we have another round of rain and snow moving in. It's going to hit the mountains later on today. There will be a chance for some showers here in town tonight, and then a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. We'll take a closer look at that, plus when we're going to hit 80 later this week.
Right now we have folks going 80 into the fog. That's on the north side of town. You can see it on I-25 here near Erie, and that southbound side. Cars and trucks and everybody's just disappearing into that fog where you can only see them for a little bit of time, and then off they go, and you can't see anything. So very limited visibility in parts to the north right now. Go all the way down to 120th, 104th. Take a look at the drive, though, farther south down here in Commerce City. This is the westbound side of 270 from Quebec getting on up past Vasquez and the refineries. Very typical slowdowns. You can see that on the map this morning. You're looking at about 20 minutes here on I-76, about 25 on I-25, and 270 is about 15 minutes. So it's a busy drive in some of those spots. Very typical things to deal with here this morning. One crash of note down to the south side. It's going to be on that the eastbound side of Hamden, trying to get to I-25 at Holly, so a couple extra minutes in from Happy Canyon.
Let's take you out live now to the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. this morning, where a group of protesters has gathered. Dozens came out last night and overnight protesting a leaked draft opinion suggesting the high court plans to overturn Roe versus Wade and therefore the constitutional right to an abortion. All morning, we're taking a 360 in-depth look as new developments on this come in.
So we are going to break down the specifics of the draft opinion and where the majority of justices stand in that opinion. We're also hearing a new reaction at the local and national levels.
And a look at the new law Colorado lawmakers just put into place in anticipation of Roe v. Wade being overturned. We start our coverage with Denver 7's Veronica Acosta near our state capitol, where we also are expecting a protest tonight. Veronica.
We are, but right now the steps of our state capitol, they are clear as far as that protests go. We expect that to happen around 6:30 this evening. We saw a lot of people head over to our nation's capital yesterday and also different spots around the country as well. Some of them heading to the Supreme Court. They themselves were met with barricades and fences. That was last night into this morning. Of course, some of the people who were there, they were there to celebrate the possibility of Roe versus Wade being overturned. Others there to protest it.
I am incredibly optimistic. It looks like we're going to finally see justice for the unborn in this country, and finally Roe v. Wade will be overturned and recognized as the egregious, disastrous decision that it is.
I'm shocked. I hope that it was just a headline that wasn't true, but I think there might be some truth to it, and I'm hoping that protests like this bring some attention to the fact that America doesn't want to overturn Roe v. Wade, that there is support to maintain it.
All of this after documents labeled first draft and dated from February. They were published by Politico. It's in response to a case challenging Mississippi's ban on abortion after 15 weeks. In the draft, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. The draft also cited Planned Parenthood versus Casey. That was a 1992 case that affirmed Roe's finding of a constitutional right to abortion. Alito wrote, quote, We hold Roe and Casey must be overruled. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Obviously, the decision itself, it is a huge deal, but really what's the scandal of this all is that ultimately it was a leak. We know court watchers were waiting for this decision to come down. Of course, they didn't expect it to come down this way. Two things to know this morning. Justices can and do change their decisions from early drafts like this. And of course, this is a huge breach of secrecy, unprecedented in the court's modern history. A CU law professor says it's unlikely to change the outcome of the decision, though.
Any interpretation in the past, we can argue is wrong, and so we don't have to follow precedent. That's giving this Supreme Court a lot of power.
And Politico said it obtained that leaked draft opinion from a person who's familiar with court proceedings within the Supreme Court itself. We know that the FBI is likely to launch an investigation into the leak as well. We're live in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Everybody wants to know where that leak came from. Okay, thank you, Veronica. Governor Polis, meanwhile, has reinforced Colorado's commitment to respecting individual rights. In a statement, he writes, any person has the ability to live, work, thrive, and raise a family on their own terms. The governor goes on to say, in Colorado, we will continue to fight for and respect the right to make decisions about your own body and medical health. Republican Representative Doug Lamborn says, in part, I pray and I'm hopeful that these reports are true and the Supreme Court does the right thing. The 1973 Roe v. Wade decision was tragically wrong.
Democratic Representative Diana DeGette put out a joint statement with California Congresswoman Barbara Lee. They write, everyone should have the right to make their own personal health care decisions that impact their lives, health, and futures. And it is chilling to think this court is unwilling to protect those rights. We'll have more on this unprecedented leak and announcement coming up in our next half hour. We'll take a look at what Colorado is already doing to protect reproductive rights, and we'll have reaction from anti-abortion advocates and pro-choice advocates as well.
Switching gears this morning, if you are a renter, you know rent prices are soaring right now. A just released report from the Apartment Association of Metro Denver shows rents are rising faster than overall inflation. Rent payments averaged $1,765 a month for the first part of this year, which is up more than 14% from the past year. So in dollar terms, it adds up to about $222 more on your monthly rent. State lawmakers want more people to be able to afford a home here, and today they'll discuss a bill designed to help the so-called missing middle. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us with details. Christian, these are people who have steady jobs but don't qualify for existing housing programs.
Yeah, this is specifically designed to help medium-income families, and this would actually create an agency that would focus on affordable housing projects for these families. And that agency is called Colorado Workforce Housing Trust Authority. So rental units in these affordable renting housing projects would have to provide stable rent options for those who make middle income. It would also help tenants who are renting transition into home ownership. And when I spoke to a real estate agent in Denver a few weeks ago, she said with the current housing market we're seeing now, there definitely needs to be more done so families can afford to buy their own home.
It's our number one wealth building tool in the nation is home ownership. And if we don't create a level playing field with the loans and this access to capital, some people are going to be permanently iced out of owning a home in Denver.
And this bill will go before a Senate committee this afternoon. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Another proposal lawmakers are working on would be a 2-year property tax reduction. If passed, homeowners would see a one-time drop in their assessment rates from 6.95% to 6.77%. So for a $500,000 home, it would mean about $270 in savings in 2023 and a little less than that in 2024. Businesses will see their assessment rates dip from 29% to 27.9%. Lawmakers say they will use the surplus to fill some funding gaps left by the property tax reduction for schools and things like that. There are critics on both sides of the aisle. Some say the bill gives too many breaks to special interests. Others say it's disingenuous since some of the money is a Tabor refund that homeowners would have gotten anyway.
Well, the Avs are getting ready to hit the ice tonight at Ball Arena for Game 1 of their best-of-7 series, opening round of the playoffs. The Avs are the top seed in the Western Conference. Nashville, their opponent, is the 8th seed, which was reversed when they met in the 2018 playoffs. The puck drops tonight at 7:30. President Biden is still considering what to do next about student loan debt, but the administration is already working on plans to limit future forgiveness.
Russell Wilson and the Broncos are back to work as the team gets ready for a game across the pond.